prossimi 25.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Italy. It's round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. It's also round 2 of the European 250 Championship. Round 1 was a couple of weeks ago at Matchley Basin, Great Britain, in the UK, on the south coast of the country. But this weekend, we are in the hills. The Dolomites are the backdrop for this second round of EMX250. The opening round was won by Alberto Ferrato on his Maddie Racing Husqvarna. Stefan Rubini and Romain van der Moosdijk ran it out the top 3, with Pierre Goupillon and Jimmy Clochet your top 5. Group 1 this morning in practice, in time training, it was Romain van der Moosdijk with a time 1:48.5 in Group 1, and Nick Lapucci a 1:51.1. So Romain van der Moosdijk will go to the line ahead of Lapucci, and then Kevin Horgmo, who was second, and Stefan Rubini, and then it will alternate like that. We had a couple of days of rain leading into this race, but our track crews have done a superb job getting this racetrack into fine condition. It's technical. Talking to a lot of riders, actually, in between their sessions, and they can't believe how technical it is, how bumpy it is. Some of the parts are a little bit tight and twisty and going to be difficult to pass, but on the whole, the circuit a lot better than we would have expected. And yeah, 1,500 meters long. This circuit offers a tight, compact racetrack for the riders. But the atmosphere is already starting to build. Following on from EMX250 Race 1 today, we have the MX2 and MXGP qualifying. Championship looks like this. Alberto Ferrato is on top, having gone 1-1 at the opening round. Stefan Rubini, because of his 3.5, and Romain van der Moosdijk 6.3. Those two separated by just 1 point. Pierre Goupillon is 4th, Jimmy Clochet is 5th. Then we've got Ruben Fernandez, Rennie Hoffer, Josh Gilbert, Kevin Horgmo, and Michael Ivanov. And then the rest, as you can see, Sabalis, Grothus, Edberg, Mewison, Tropepi, and Glenn Meyer. First round, 24 people scored points, and it's Jerry Harvisto who is in 24th position. But as you can see, atmosphere and the fans just starting to get into the whole swing of things here. The EMX250 riders have just come in from their sighting lap, and they're making their way down to the start line as we speak. I was stood up in the skybox just a few moments ago, and just looking down on the start line from the top of the skybox down to the start straight, sort of middle left, looks like it's really soft as you come out of the gate, that first 20-30 yards, whereas middle right looks a little drier underneath. Initially, after you get over the gate, it's a little bit stodgy and a little bit boggy, but that right side just seems to work a little bit better, and it looks a little drier than it does. So pretty much from the center of the podium, just a little bit drier on the sweep through into the first turn. Here's how the riders go to the line, though. Romain van der Moosdijk quickest in Group 1, Nick Lapucci quickest in Group 2, Horgmo second, Rubini second, so that's why he's it. Alberto Ferrato, the championship leader there with the red plate, 3:03. He goes to the line 5th because he was 3rd in his Group 1. Riders who didn't make it: Alexander Brown, Frederick Theorel, Tim Edberg, Emil Weckman failed to qualify. Lorenzo Corti, Lewis Hall, Jack Vincliffe, who did not start. And then there's a few others. Caleb Grothus didn't qualify either, so just gives you some idea as to how difficult this EMX250 category is. 98 there, just below the aero banner, that's Thibaut Beneston. The number 98, he was champion last year. There he is in the EMX125 division. He's sandwiched between the 24 of Kevin Horgmo and the 132 of Mahi Villanueva on the Giudinelli Racing Team Yamaha. Hello, Mum. Our cameraman up there just keeping a close eye and everything, but full gate here almost 100 riders in both 125 and 250 European Championship classes here this weekend, having to qualify. First 20 go through. The next rider in each group, so the 21st finisher, is first or second reserve. Nick Lapucci there on the steels, Dr. Jack KTM. What can he do? He was fastest in Group 2, so obviously feels very comfortable around this racetrack given the conditions. But for the EMX250 riders, the Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time of the weekend. For them, 25 minutes plus 2 laps. Who is it going to be that gets across the whole shot line first? Look towards the centre. Is that going to be the better sweep through the first turn? Only ever so slightly. 24, we've got men down going into that first turn. Looks like it might be 24, Kevin Hawkmo, that hits the strike first. And we've got riders on the exit of the turn. And that's causing all kinds of problems. And a man down all by himself there. That was that 16, Sabalis. So Carlos Sabalis goes down. But it's Hawkmo who leads. Second is Rubini there, 118. Third then is Giuseppe Tropepi there, number 323. Then fourth, looks like Pierre Goupillon on the Honda Red Motor Asamoto machine, riding 720. In fifth place, looks like Ruben Fernandez, and on that distinctive Yamaha, number 70. Then up the inside, 142, Jiri Havisto. So Havisto, who is 24th in the championship, getting off to a flying start here. Just the start he needs. And the JK Racing Yamaha rider will just need to keep a calm head in the early stages of this race. Might get a replay of the start here in a moment. Watch this. 111 got hit there, but look at that guy going upside down. Is that Josh Gilbert? Not sure. No, Ralph Mewison in the red. And then, well, just carnage down there, wasn't it? Anyway, here's your race leader, Kramer Racing KTM's, number 24 from Norway, working his way down behind the pit lane area. That's to his left. Our right as they work their way towards us. There's Rubini and Rivera. So the Majora Park Racing team rider, he's also not going to rejoin the race here. He did make it around the first split, though, so obviously having an issue soon after that. Here's Roman Mosdijk, F&H Racing team. On that green Kawasaki, the rider from the Netherlands going after the 70. Former rider on that team, actually, the number 70, Ruben Fernandez for SDM Corsa Yamaha. But it's Hawkmo who leads, Rubini second, Goupillon third, Alberto Ferrato, your championship leader fourth. These two here, 720 Goupillon and Ferrato. On that Matty Racing Husqvarna just behind him. He looks to go to the outside, try and get that good drive hard on the bank, but he's going to have to do some magic at the top of the hill here. Will he cut to the inside? He can't quite, because Goupillon just closing off the line there. Behind them, Fernandez and Van der Moosdijk. Havisto in 7th place. Giuseppe Tropepi is in 8th position. There's Ferrato. Oh, he weaves from one side of the track to the other, and we've got a change at the top of the field. Hawkmo getting past there by 118 of Rubini. Rubini was disappointed with the way that he rode in Matchley Basin, he said. But he came away from there second overall. 14 points adrift of Alberto Ferrato. Didn't make good starts. Had to work hard all the way through the weekend to get that 3rd and 5th place finish. Right, here's Goupillon and Ferrato. Ferrato on that white Husqvarna. He's in 4th place. Just behind him is Ruben Fernandez. Roman Mosdijk 6th. Jiri Havisto 7th. Giuseppe Tropepi has dropped from about 4th to 8th on that first lap. Andrea Adamo, former 150 CRF champ. He's in 9th. Raivo Dankers 10. Renny Hoffer 11. Yuri Quarti 12. Gianluca Facchetti in 13th. Ahead of Shihiro Notsuka on the Honda 114 Motorsports team. Simeo Ubak, Matteo Puccinelli, Paolo Lagana, Glenn Mayer, and Leon Florian. As Ferrato charges up the inside of Pierre Goupillon. There wasn't a lot of room for work there, but he managed to get those big elbows out. Charge his way up the inside. He had a fantastic ride as well as an MX2 wildcard in Valkenswaard last week. Did the 303 of Ferrato. just here, just flashing past our screen. So Rubini leads, Horgmo is second, Ferrato here now is in third, Goupillon in red is fourth. The Honda Red Motor, Asa Motor. Here's your race leader, his teammate, Stefan Rubini, in the Kramer Racing KTM of Kevin Horgmo. Number 24 is in second place. About 6 seconds back is Ferrato. So we'll do the lap times and the gap check on that next time around. Horgmo this time around was a 1:54.3. Ferrato in traffic at 53.8. So 4 or 5 tenths in it. Romano Mostite looking to go around the outside of a stumbling number 70 of Ruben Fernandez. And he's going to force the issue here, but he's got that single jump to the inside. Allows Fernandez just to take that line away at the bottom of the hill, off cambered, till they created that little line on the inside. Steeper than it looks down that short descent as well. And some gnarly old braking bumps starting to develop. I was over on that side of the track during time practice for MX2. A little bit of a wet slop to the outside. Hopefully they can open that up for tomorrow, but we had terrible weather coming into this weekend. So the fact that the track is even as rideable as this is just credit to our track crews this weekend. Very technical the track is, according to most riders that I've spoken to. Down the inside, Van der Moosdijk nips up the inside of Fernandez messing around with the clutch there, so whether he's got some adjustment issues on that STM Corsa Yamaha, but it's definitely bothered him as he came past pit lane. And Ferrato, the fastest rider on track that time around by about 6 tenths over Kevin Horgmo, and 1 tenth over the race leader, Rubini. But Pierre Goupillon, he's in 4th position, about 3 seconds clear of the Kawasaki. Well, he was about 3 seconds clear, but here he is, being closed down by Rowan Van der Moosdijk. So Van der Moosdijk just coming towards us any moment now, just behind Ferrato. Ferrato here in 3rd place, fastest man on track at the moment. Ruts, what Ruts? He just bounces through him. Look, takes a quick look over his shoulder, looking for some improvisation there in the lines, getting across the ruts rather than following them. Very loose and heavy down that part of the racetrack, but all of a sudden you get to the top of the hill there, it's down to the sheet rock. Starts to come through, tight lines at the bottom of the hills, starting to reform after a little bit of track work during the break between MXGP time practice and the start of this race and their sighting lap, of course, in EMX250. Just looking outside of the points, we've got Isaac Gifting, Thibaut Beneston in 22nd, Nick Lapucci is 23rd, so he was fastest in his group in time training, Group 2 this morning. Oh, hello. Lorenzo Rivera just having to move aside because Stefan Rubini comes through to lap him. So this was the move a moment ago. Rubini putting on Kevin Horgmo for the lead. Squeezed his way around the outside and then controlled the next turn. Took the options away from Horgmo. Lorenzo Rivera, he's a lap down, remember. He went missing on the first lap. Rubini at the bottom of the hill in red is your race leader. The guy 2 riders behind him, number 24 on the orange KTM, is the guy in second. That's Kevin Horgmo, just here on the Kramer Racing KTM. 3rd, Ferrato, and he is closing a 52.0 compared to a 53.6. Man, that was 1.6 seconds he's pulled back there. So Ferrato obviously feeling very at home here as well, you'd understand. Oh, bit lazy through there, didn't get the jump over any of those little doubles. But here's Kevin Horgmo. Horgmo didn't score in the first race at Matterley. He had that big crash when him and Rubini came together, remember, on the uphill triple, just a couple of laps from home. But he did get a second in race 2 on Sunday morning, so that has hoisted him up to 9th place in the championship. So maybe just wanting to get some points on the board here. Kevin Horgmo finished 10th in the championship last year. His best round was the final round in Assen last year, where he was 2nd overall. But you can see, just in the background at the top of the hill, the gap between him and Alberto Ferrato just starting to come down. And he gets held up there behind a back marker. Wrong choice of line there for Horgmo. Could have committed to the inside, but as I said a moment ago, maybe just trying to get some points on the board. Rivero takes a look over his shoulder. He realizes that the leaders are coming through. That gap down to nothing. Ferrato 2 or 3 seconds quicker than Horgmo. Horgmo making a few mistakes here. On that number 24, he's allowed Ferrato just to get a sniff. And I think he quite likes his aftershave because he's drawing closer with each turn in each lap. Right, Rubini out of sight. 6 seconds clear. What was here? 52.4. Ferrato 52.4. So thousandths of a second between Ferrato there, the 3:03 in third, and Rubini, your race leader, as just a little out of shape there for the 24 of Horgmo. Pierre Goupignon about 7 seconds further back. He sets his fastest lap of the race with a 53.7. He's in fourth. Roman Mostike is in fifth as Ferrato goes down the inside, and he does go through. So hard charging this from Ferrato. Quick pull of the tear-offs now that he's got no riders ahead of him. And he'll have about 7.2 seconds to make up to Stefan Rubini, your race leader. Ruben Fernandez still there in 6th place. Giuseppe Tropepi 7, Renny Hoffer 8, Yeri Avisto 9, Andrea Adamo is 10, Raivo Dankers in 11th place, Yuri Quati 12, Chihiro Notsuka 13, Glenn Mayer 14, Simeo Ubak, Carlos Sabalis, who fell on the opening lap coming out of turn 3, Paolo Lugana is 17, Gianluca Facchetti, Ismail Guarizi, and Isaac Gifting. They're your top 20. Thibaut Beneston just outside of the points at the moment for the number 98. But Ferrato, now that he's got clear track, what can we expect from him this time around? We may have lost Chihiro Notsuka, just looking at our intermediate splits. Whoa, Goupillon out of the seat as he goes after the number 39 of Roman Mostike, who finally makes a way past the Frenchman. So Van der Moostak up to 4th. Pierre Goupillon here in 5th now on that red Honda. Waiting for the rest of the guys to come through just to see if Notsuka is there, but Notsuka has gone missing. So yeah, Notsuka nowhere to be seen at the moment. He was in what, 12th or 13th place. Here's Roman Mostike, FNH Racing Kawasaki, just ahead of the 720 Pierre Goupillon on the Honda Red Motor Asamotor machine. And Roman Mostike, third in the championship. Turned out to be a good weekend, Valkenswaard, for the FNH squad. Jacoby got on the podium in MX2. Van der Moostak in EMX250. And here he is, just finding his way past the 720 of Goupillon. Right. Fernandez has just been caught here by Giuseppe Tropepi, number 70, getting caught by the 223 on the Giudinelli Racing Yamaha. And I wonder how much of that is clutch related, because Ruben Fernandez obviously was messing around with his clutch lever as he came past pit lane on that first lap. Maybe it's taken away some of the focus, but the Spaniard, number 70, Ruben Fernandez, looking across towards pit lane and not bothering with the clutch adjustment now, but I just wonder whether it had a slight implication for him. He's over the line in 6th place, number 70. So the SDM Corsa Yamaha rider trying to keep at bay the number 223 on the Giudinelli Racing Yamaha. Giuseppe Tropepi, who looks like he's coming into some form. A little bit of love shown there between the rubbers of Fernandez and Tropepi. And the Italian looks to go around the outside. He drops back into the same rut, so 2 lines into 1. Didn't really have a choice there. This is expensive for Tropepi. He had to wave a leg there as well because he thought Fernandez were going to come across him on the exit of that turn. He certainly does on the end of the jump. Watch this here. Love tap. Tropepi did well to stay up there. Anyway, back marker going through. That battle resumes here with Fernandez and Tropepi, the 70 and the 223 and 6 and 7. Lorenzo Rivera, number 20, moves aside. 29, sorry. But Rubini has about 5.5 seconds over Alberto Ferrato. Ferrato was about a half a second quicker last time around, as Tropepi now looking to go for Fernandez again. The two Yamaha riders here duking it out. Fernandez, whatever his issue was on the opening lap, seems to have settled down a little bit. Yuri Quarti now up to 11th. He's found his way past the number 10. Vrivo Dankers on the Hütten Metal Yamaha. And Carles Sabalas has found his way past Simeo Ube. So the 124 from Spain on his KTM, just losing the position to Sabalas on the WZ Racing KTM. Meanwhile, 5.8 the gap between Rubini and Ferrato, so nothing much happening there. Here is the 39 of Roman Mostak, the 720 of Pierre Goupillon. Tropepi, see how the line just starting to polish up in some of the corners. A little bit of a front end twitch there from Kevin Horgmo as he wrestles his Kramer KTM into that right-hander in third place. He's lost about 6 seconds already to Ferrato. He's 11 off the lead of Rubini. So Rubini almost 6 seconds clear at the moment. Tropepi not letting Fernandez out of his sights. Look. These two still fighting over 6th place. Meanwhile, Thibaut Beneston up into 16. He just makes a move on Paolo Lagana. So poor start for the European 125 champ from last year. Making up for it though. There's Rubini, bottom of the hill in red. Honda Red Motor, Asa Motor, leading the way. The guy in that bottom corner who just sets the fastest lap of the race, a 50.9. About 3/10 quicker than Rubini. That gap's still 5.5 though. Alberto Ferrato just here. Maddie Racing Husqvarna. He's in 2nd position. Didn't make the worst start, but here he is, obviously feeling confident on his Husky, chasing down the rider on the team that he raced for last year. 7 minutes plus 2 to go. Bosses that 250 around. We said when he moved up from the CRF 150, and Rubini throws it away. A gift there for Ferrato. And the Italian fans love that. So I wonder whether Rubini was just pushing a little too hard there. I'm not sure, but Ferrato, well, he won 2 races at Matterley. He now leads the race here, race 1 in Italy at Trentino. Can he hang on and pick up another 25 points? Well, when you come out of a corner and you see a race leader already down on the deck, that is an absolute gift. And a potential for 25 points, and Rubini will be spewing underneath that helmet of his. Oh, into the back markers, though. 209 almost gets collected there, Gianmarco Generelli. That gap, 3 seconds. And he sets the fastest lap of the race as well, a 49.9. So the only rider to go below, well, even 150. 51s after that for Rubini. So in amongst the traffic here, Alberto Ferrato just going through. Here's Stefan Rubini. He's in second position, short on that little jump. Tries to double his way at the end of the straight, so wheelie, 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 those three waves, double. He's got it all to do again, though, hasn't he? Problem he's got now, he rides over himself to close down a very fast Alberto Ferrato. You run the risk of making mistakes, but that's not 3 seconds anymore. Back markers at the bottom of the hill starting to interfere with play as your race leader and championship leader comes through. And the 97 there of Michael Ivanov. Didn't expect to see him that far down, so he must have been one of the guys that went upside down in turn one. Ruben Fernandez hanging on here to 6th place. Tropepi briefly found his way back by, but he's going to have to wait a little longer. Fernandez asking too much of the front brake there. The front end twitched a little. But Tropepi dives up the inside of the Spaniard, makes no mistake about it this time. And the guy behind him, the third rider on shot, the 29 of Lorenzo Rivera, he's a lap down. He's just trying to get as much track information as he can ahead of race 2 tomorrow morning. So finally, Giuseppe Tropepi, he finds his way through. Third overall last year in Portugal, Tropepi. So he knows what it's like to be on the podium. Back markers causing havoc now for your race leader. And also the 118 of Rubini. 3.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Rubini will be hoping that these slower guys ahead of him will just affect the charge of your race leader. 494 just going through there. Romain Pap, France. Alberto Ferrato doing his best. There's Rasmussen. He definitely went upside down at turn 1 at the start of the race. So starting to come through the traffic now. Mario Lucas Sainz, another rider that we didn't expect to see there. Or is that René Hoffer, actually, was it? No, 771. Yeah, so the F4E Racing KTM rider there. Takes a look over his shoulder, sees Rubini coming through, tries to stay out of trouble there, but Roman Brendan Mostijk, he's definitely gone a little bit wide and into the deep slop around the outside of that right-hand turn, and that has cost him a position. He was in 4th, and Tropepi goes through, so that's 2 positions lost for the Dutch rider for FNH Racing. Doesn't look like he's been down, but he's definitely gone off track and into the suit. So 12 laps complete. Alberto Ferrato just over 3.5 seconds clear of Stefan Rubini. These two here, Mario Lucas Sainz and Rasmussen, fighting outside of the points after their off-track excursions right at the start of the race. Here's your race leader, 303. Alberto Ferrato, Maddie Racing Husqvarna. It was about a 10th slower than Rubini at the first split. Keep an eye on the other splits, but there's Rubini. Gap still probably around about 3.5, 4 seconds. As he works his way back towards us here, the 118. Vital championship points lost, throwing away that lead a moment ago. Loving these conditions, though, no doubt. A bit more homely, hard, rocky racetrack. Here's Kevin Hawkmo, he's in 3rd. About 8 seconds down on... about 12 seconds down, sorry, on Rubini, and about 10 seconds clear of Pierre Goupillon. So this will be a top 3 finish for him, which is perfect for building consistency. Going to be 3 laps to go, because out of the final corner, Alberto Ferrato here hits the line with about 26 seconds on the clock. And that gap, 4 seconds, so he's made another 4/10 or thereabouts on Rubini. Here's Hawkmo in 3rd, Kramer Racing KTM. Safe in 3rd as well at the moment, just needs to keep that focus. Try and set himself up for a good race tomorrow. Hopefully see him on the podium in the overall classification. Who knows, he might even go out and get a race win. But Ferrato leads. Rubini is 2nd. 3rd is Hawkmo. 4 Gupillon. 5 Tropepi. The Kawasaki, bottom left of your screen, just disappearing out of sight, is Roman Mosdijk. And this guy here, number 70, Ruben Fernandez, is 7. Rennie Hoffer is in 8th place, only about 2 seconds behind. So all of a sudden, there's Hoffer closing in on these two as they drop downhill. Where is Hoffer? Back marker between them. So the 7-11 on the KTM Junior machine. Rennie Hoffer is in 8th place. Carlos Savalis, 9. Glenn Mayer is in 10th. Then we've got Yari Avisto, Yuri Quarti, Andrea Adamo, Simeo Ubak, Raivo Dankers, Thibaut Beneston, Nick Lapucci, 17, Paolo Lagana, Ismail Guarizi, and Jimmy Clochet on the Bud Racing Kawasaki. Josh Gilbert in 22nd place now. Sure, it was him that was upside down on the first turn as well, so he's done well to pick himself up from that one. Two to go. Here's Ferrato, and we're waiting for Rubini. Rubini's still not over the line yet. Oh, 8 seconds. So he's obviously had a bit of a problematic lap that time around, Stefan Rubini. Lost about 4 seconds on the first sector, so maybe a slight mistake. Rubini. Sector 1 from the finish line to the step up into Cairoli's turn just there. Ferrato looking solid at the moment, isn't he? Looks pretty solid as well. Built like the proverbial brick house. There's a rider taking a look around. Of course, that is Jorge Prado. Wondering where he can make up more points in the MX2 fight. Just over a lap to go, though, for the 303 on the Maddie Racing Husqvarna. Alberto Ferrato. Rick Elsinger, the 172, just moving out of the way on his STM Corsa Yamaha. Nobody else really. He's just outside of the points as well, Elsinger. Another rider up from 125 last year. Nice leisurely look across to pit lane as well for the final instructions for Alberto Ferrato as he enters the final lap. See the 1 lap board over to his right as he hits the Monster Energy finish line. And the gap between him and Rubini goes out even more because Rubini hit the line now. 8.5 seconds now, that gap. So, and it all started from that mistake from Rubini when he had about 3 seconds in hand over the Italian, over on the opposite side of the racetrack on one of the hills at the top of the hill, coming out of one of the left-handers. He'll look to his right and, yeah, still, there's Rubini now, look, just coming into view. Hawkmo is in 3rd, Pierre Gupillon 4th. We wait for Giuseppe Tropepi any moment now. In fact, he goes through right on cue in 5th place. Roman Mosdijk should be right there with him, and he is about 4 seconds further back than Ruben Fernandez, Rennie Hoffer. So this was Ferrato getting to the top of the hill and seeing the race leader, Stefan Rubini, down. And that was how the lead changed hands. Here is Ferrato. The final descent before the step down towards the pit lane area up onto this plateau. Out of this left, there'll be a short, sharp pyramid jump, which is a double, single, bounce, step down. And the Maddie Racing Husqvarna rider out of this left-hander for the final time. Heads past pit lane, it's pretty fast across there as well, so just keeping that tempo up. Out of the final turn, Alberto Ferrato will win his third race of the season, and he has time for a lazy knack-knack as well. There's Rubini. He comes through in second. He'll be disappointed that he made a simple error at the top of the hill. Still good points for the championship, though. Second for the 118 Honda Red Motor Asa Motor rider. Here's Kevin Horgmo getting ready to cross the line in third for Kramer Racing KTM. He'll be pleased with that as well. Second in race 2, Matterley 2 weeks ago. Third in race 1 here in Italy. And that will move him up to 6th in the championship. He was 9th. Congratulations all round then for those guys. We will grab a quick word with Alberto Ferrato any moment. But 11.5 seconds in the end, his win over Stefan Rubini. Rubini backing it off on the final lap. Ferrato, of course, undefeated so far on 75 points, 3 wins out of 3. Rubini stays second, but he had the chance to reduce the gap from 14 to 11, but it's now gone out to 17. Pierre Goupillon third, Roman Mosdijk fourth, and Ruben Fernandez top 5 in the championship now. But anyway, Lisa Leyland getting ready, I believe, to catch up with Alberto Ferrato as he makes his way behind the skybox. That's the race winner. Give it the top 20 in just a moment. As soon as they're all over the line, and they're all over the line now. But it was a win for Alberto Ferrato, Stefan Rubini second, Kevin Horgmo, Pierre Goupillon, Giuseppe Tropepi, your top 5. Here's Lisa Leyland, though, with our 3-time race winner.
Alberto Ferrato, 3 out of 3 wins, right where you needed to be when Rubini made his mistake.
You know, yeah, it was the start was strange because they rain a lot, and then I start not so good, but then I go on the second position pretty quickly. Then when Rubini crashed, I was lucky, but then they can make my rhythm, and then yeah, I'm happy about my race. And
great job, thank you.
Alberto Ferrato arrived here, back-to-back wins, and the red plate attached to his Maddie Racing Husqvarna after Matterley Basin 2 weeks ago. Guess what? He shows up on home soil, takes a win in race 1, extends his lead over Stefan Rubini by 3 more points. That gap now 17. Can he do it again tomorrow? Will he win? Will he be on the podium? Will he maintain his grip on the red plate? Official confirmation then coming up for EMX250 Race 1. A win for Alberto Ferrato. Stefan Rubini second, Kevin Horgmo third. Pierre Goupillon, Giuseppe Tropepi, Roman Mosdijk 6 in the end. Ruben Fernandez 7 and Rennie Hoffer was 8. Carlos Sabalis 9 and Glenn Mayer 10. Then it was Jerry Havisto, Yuri Quarti, Andrea Adamo, Simeo Ubak, Thibaut Benestan up to 15. Rivo Dankers, Nick Lapucci, Paolo Lugana, Israel Guarizi and Jimmy Clochet. Josh Gilbert just outside the points. And what was a explosive start to EMX250. Here's how the highlights look. Keep an eye on the first corner. Horgmo made a good jump, but some riders not so lucky, and I think it was the number 3 that got caught out in that, along with other riders. And then a few more on the exit of turn 3. Carlos Sabalis failed attempt at stunt riding. Meant that he picked himself up. Eventually, though, he did score points. Change for the lead at the end of the first lap, though. Rubini down the inside of Kevin Horgmo. Pierre Goupillon tried to keep the big burly 303 behind, but no chance there as the 39 went through. Van der Moosdijk. Then we saw a change for second. Ruben Fernandez did his best to keep Giuseppe Tropepi at bay. Rubini led and fell, and that handed the advantage to Alberto Ferrato. From there, he never looked back. The two Yamahas duked it out, but Tropepi eventually muscled his way at the inside of Fernandez. That was for fifth. Roman Moosdijk did fall in the end, and he would eventually come home in sixth place. Kevin Horgmo, the number 24, circulating third, but he was all on his own. Ruben Fernandez came home in seventh behind the number 39 of Roman van der Moosdijk, but out of the final few corners, once he'd taken the lead, Alberto Ferrato had no worries. He was victorious by more than 11 seconds. Rubini was second, Horgmo was third. All right, let's take a look at some of the best moments. When we return, it will be at 1:45, so what, in about 4 minutes? With the MX2 qualifying race. See you then.